Iron Man is my son's absolute favorite Avenger. He is always asking me why I am the worst Avenger and why couldn't I be Iron Man?
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, amazing. And I think the interview could end on that.
Yeah, that's the quote of the day.
Right. That's
why are you the worst Avenger and why can't you be Iron Man?
Amazing. So jumping on in, obviously I have a ton of questions about South of Heaven, but I like throwing some curveballs at the beginning. And I want to know, what do you remember about being a student in Freddy versus Jason?
I remember a couple people got trampled in the corn scene when everybody's running through the cornfields like in terror. I don't even know what we were running from, to be honest. I assume it's Freddy or Jason. Who knows? Could have been either of them. But sure. People got trampled. I remember because I was a student at the time and I did extra work to pay my way through university. So my thing was I was always trying to get to the back of a scene so that they wouldn't need to use me for half of the setups and I could go back to the extras holding and study. And they kept putting me in this front of the scene right beside the lead actors. And I was like, I am never going to get my work done. And then now my IMDb page credits me as an actor in that movie, which is really irritating because I was not an actor in that movie. I was an extra in that movie. They've done that with a bunch of my extra work. And so instead of my first credit being lost, it's probably Freddy versus Jason as things stand on IMDb.
I think there's a few, but I totally get it. But other people were dreaming about getting to the front of the camera. You're like,
No, I wanted to get my physics homework done. That's what I wanted to do.
Completely. So how often do people want to talk to you about Real Steel?
Real Steel, by the way, did you know that today is the 10th anniversary of Real Steel?
I should know that, but I didn't.
Entertainment Weekly has just released this beautiful, like what is it called? Like a
oral history?
An oral history. That's exactly it. Yeah. To Real Steel. So I just actually finished doing a beautiful interview with them and the main cast of the film. It is a beloved movie. People who are fans of it are diehard fans of it, and there's a lot of them. When I go to cons, it's one of my favorite things is when people come up and they're like, instead of it being about Lost or The Hobbit or Marvel, they're like, yeah, I love Real Steel. That's one, because I love Real Steel. As an audience member, it's one of my favorite films I've ever done.
So jumping into South of Heaven, I know you are pretty selective with the projects you take on. At least it looks like that, I guess I'm curious, what was it about this material that said, I want to do this?
There were a couple of things. One was Aharon Keshales, the director. He's an Israeli director who had directed a film called Big Bad Wolves. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's amazing. And it's not the kind of film I would normally watch. I don't watch thrillers. I don't watch horrors. I don't like violent movies. And it is about homicidal pedophile. I mean, there is nothing more offensive to me that I would normally turn it off within the first 5 minutes. But he handled it with such wit and sensitivity and sweetness and beauty that I was like, this guy is doing something really, really special. I think he's kind of a master in that space of handling like high gore, high violence with such grace. And he also creates great characters. And Annie, the character that I play in South of Heaven, was a character that I was very excited to play. I was very excited to throw off the mantle of tough and capable kick-ass chick and play a soft and sweet and sensitive and gracious woman who is dying. And despite dying of being, having about a year to live because she's dying of lung cancer, being a total ray of light to the world that she inhabits. And when I was doing my research for the project, there was a blogger named Linnea Olson who blogs on outliving.lungcancer.com. And she became my inspiration for Annie. And, her cover picture is like absolutely glowing with light and joy and vibrance. And yet in her blog post, you see her go through these really kind of huge ups and downs of a huge emotional spectrum of sort of where it takes her facing death all the time. And so this character was really a huge driving force for me. I wanted to play her. And then who doesn't want to work with Jason Sudeikis? Who doesn't want to work with Ted Lasso? I mean, he wasn't Ted Lasso back then when we made the film, but he was actually in the process of making Ted Lasso at the time. I remember he would be on set and he'd be working on the editing for this show he'd worked on in the UK. And he was so passionate about it and he was so invested in it, but nobody had seen it yet. And now I'm a diehard fan. But I was already a fan of Jason's before that.
I really like the scene where you guys are, it's when you're first together, you get into the house and both of you guys are nervous about each other and about, being intimate and, because it's been 12 years. And I did hear that you were instrumental in that scene being rewritten to be more like that than just, you joining him in the bathtub, if you will. Yeah. So can you sort of talk about that scene? Because I thought it was very honest and real.
Yeah. I wish I would be able to remember the title of the film that was an inspiration for that for me. So Aharon Keshales based this film off of the old 60s and 70s thrillers, and he's a huge fan of those movies. So I did a little bit of research and he had me watch a couple of them. And one of them, God, I wish I could remember the title. It's going to drive me crazy now because I will not be able to come up with it. But maybe you'll know. There's a convict who comes out of prison and then him and his gal are kind of on the run together. And she was such a big star back then. Brunette, absolutely dropped dead gorgeous. She was probably only like 19 when she did the role.
Not Faye Dunaway. It's not fate. No, I won't know. Anyway. I mean, I should know, but there's so many choices.
It's totally, I know there's too many. That's exactly right. But basically, the way the scene was originally written was very classic Southern guy being like smarmy and flirty and like, come on, honey, let's like hook up. And her being like classically kind of shy and demure in her lingerie, like, oh, I kind of feel a little bit shy because I haven't been with you in 12 years. I just said to Aharon, we can't do that. That doesn't represent anybody's reality, I don't think. I think after 12 years in prison and after having completely destroyed his and Annie's life and future together, I don't think this guy would be coming in with, he wouldn't be coming in balls first. He would be coming in with a lot of pain and shame and guilt and anger and frustration. And I don't know that intimacy is that easy when you first come out of prison. I don't have that experience, but if I were to imagine what that re-entry period must be like for couples, it's got to be a challenge for a lot of them. And I thought it would be much more interesting to represent that version of reality where actually the woman has to take the lead. And she takes the lead not so much because she's horny. She takes the lead because she has so much grace for what he's done and how he imploded their life. And Aharon went for it and said, I want to do that. And I'm really happy with where the scene ended up.
Oh no, it's very real and honest. I've been given the wrap-up signal, but do you mind if I just ask one other question? Really?
Yeah, of course. Tatum, can we take a few more minutes? I talk so much. Sometimes
I just don't. Yeah, no, it's just because as you can tell by the things behind me. Oh, by the way, I didn't even realize. You should look right.
Oh my God.
It didn't even occur to me till just now that but as you can tell by certain things that are behind me, I am a little bit of a Marvel fan, and I really do want to ask you if you can tease anything about the Ant-Man movie that I believe you might be filming.
I can tease that I am currently filming Quantumania, and I can tease nothing else for you lest I die.
Sure. Can I at least ask you, what was your reaction after reading the script? Was it one of these things where you were just like, if you could talk about that?
I would be happy to. I was so stoked on the script. Jeff Loveness is our new writer for the film, and we've never worked with him before. And I think he is phenomenal. I think he's one of the best writers we've ever had. I think he's got an incredible mastery of voice. So on the page, I could hear all the characters, and I knew that he'd really kind of harnessed each person's unique personality. And I just think that it's going to be really special. I think it's going to be really good. I actually think it has the chance to be the best one we've done yet.
Yeah, I cannot wait. My last thing for you. Do you actually pay attention to all the other, no, it's not about Ant-Man.
I just love the genuine enthusiasm. I can feel it.
Oh yeah, no, I actually really care about this stuff. But I'm curious, do you actually watch all the other Marvel things, the animation? I know you did What If. Are you watching all this to sort of make sure that you're like in the loop as you understand everything that's going on? Or are you almost watching it now because you mentioned you have a son who is a fan? Are you now watching everything like with your son and sort of taking it in through his eyes in a completely new way?
A bit of both and a bit of neither. I have not seen all of it. I do try. I see it as almost like homework. Like I need to know what's going on in the world. I need to understand when there's references made in scripts. I need to know what's going on. I'm also a fan of Marvel, as in I'm a fan of the filmmakers that are, creating this incredible universe. I think they are the best superhero movie makers I've ever witnessed. And I know that I'm not alone in that, so that's not a revolutionary thing to say, except that I don't actually like superhero movies. So coming from me, that's different. I think they're really smart. I think they're really, really, really good at what they do. And it's why I wanted to get involved with this franchise. I never had any desire to be in a superhero movie, but Marvel do it right. They do it really well. So I'm a fan. Like I think WandaVision was phenomenal. And I think it was probably the best they've ever represented a female character. It was so incredible to see her be so complicated and so flawed and yet so redeemable and so lovable. The way we have typically historically treated our male characters. I think it was an epic female protagonist story. I loved the ending of Loki, the Loki TV show. They didn't fully have me till the end. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, okay, it's good. But I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the amazing show, until they got to the end, and I was like, it's chaos theory. I love it. Like the science geek in me loves that element of how smart they are and how they tackle such enormous topics that most kind of fluff popcorn movies are not going to tackle. They tackled chaos theory. That's really brave and really bold and really cool. So yeah, I don't watch them all. I still haven't seen my What If episode, which I'm dying to see because I had so much fun making it, but I'll catch up on it eventually. I still haven't seen Black Widow, but I will. I have intentions to. I haven't seen what's Anthony Mackie's show called?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes, I haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet. I will. It takes, there's so many things but I've definitely not seen them all. I actually had WandaVision and Loki are the only TV shows I've seen from Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, I could just dig deep on this, but I'll just say that with Loki, I agree with you. That ending is amazing because Jonathan Majors is telling them the truth and it's this great, and he's so good in it. And he's telling them, you might get someone a lot worse than me. Like you know what I mean? It's so good.
It's so good. And the fact that when we explore the two sides to chaos theory, it's two sides of the same person is so good, because I don't know about you, but I have both those people in me. I mean, I have that constant battle inside of me, especially right now with the way the world is today, of like, how much do we control and how much do we need freedom, and where is that balance, and what does that look like, and what's more important, safety or freedom? And that's what they're tackling in this show. And the fact that they're tackling it in 2021, mid-pandemic, is really brave and bold. And yeah, I dig it.